Pretty awesome.
Yeah, shit hot.
Yeah.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, Chaos people? We are just having a bit of a gory chat this morning about the skies falling out of the world, and everyone's shitting themselves and has no toilet paper to finish off the job. Apparently,
Yes, everybody. Welcome and lovely greetings to all of you. Yeah, it appears that the sky is falling, right? Because the media portrays it that way, and I think there's a struggle. I think in the media and versus reality, so to speak, and some of the media is having to backtrack and clarify things, right? But at the same time, local, regional, and national governments, rightfully so, are having to be precautious because it's a volatile situation with unpredictable conditions and environments. We're
that's
not
it.
robots,
That's it.
right? We're
That's
not
essentially
robots.
right.
And you have to make decisions that also look kind of over the top, but at the same time, because you can't manage a population, let alone lead it effectively if people are scared, you have to make those decisions, right? Which
So,
causes, you know,
yeah.
yeah.
So, in case, I mean, like, obviously, this is the internet. We have no control over who watches this or what country you're in. Maybe you're already in a country that is in quarantine, like Italy, Algeria, stuff like that. Maybe you're not in a country that is so dramatically affected at the moment, like the US, Australia, a few different other countries, the UK, Ireland, stuff like that. So what we wanted to do today was just to go over a way that you can take what's happening if you are in a situation where you can't go to a gym or you're quarantined or you can't go to work or whatever the hell it is. We want to work out a little battle plan for you. So not only can you not go backwards from the workouts that you've been doing, but you can actually make progress at home. Because funnily enough, there's a misconception, especially in the fitness industry, that working out at home is not going to be as effective as if you have access to a gym. But
Right.
because no one ever does home workouts compared to how many people would go to a gym, they're actually really, really effective because of a couple of reasons. One,
Right.
you can simulate an amazing workout that is as brutal as a really heavy gym session right in your lounge room in your kitchen. And two, it's a different type of stimulus. It's a different type of overload. It's a different type of time under tension. So your muscle doesn't know whether you're in the gym, whether you're at home, whether you're doing bodyweight stuff, whether you're in the park. All it knows is it's got overload, it's got pressure against it, and it's got to come up with resistance, strength, muscle, overcome that, and grow again. So based on that alone, and the stuff that we're going to go through, and some different principles around at-home training, you're going to be able to kill it and crush an at-home workout, if not just as good as going to a gym.
Interestingly enough, and those are exact and true points. When I was training for a triathlon, one of my friends who is a triathlete and a triathlon coach said something very significant to me in that don't choose your training environments based on convenience, right? Because he said if it's hot, if you wake up and it's hot outside and it's a day to run, go run in the heat. If it's windy and you got a bike ride day and it's fucking windy out there, go ride in the wind because you don't know what race day is going to be like. Right? So don't cherry pick the conditions by which you can excel. And that landed for me so hard, dude. I was like, "Oh my god, that's right." And I embraced it, and I never looked at. I stopped looking at, outside of it pouring outside, which I've run in that kind of rain before.
Yep.
Right? You just nothing should stop you. I used when we were, I've gone to coaching retreats where I'm leading retreats, and it's 25 degrees outside in New Hampshire, and it's snowing, and I lead 8 guys for a 3-mile run, 4 mornings in a row.
And it's also as well, it's like you think about all the people that would listen to this that are regularly training, that are going 3 or 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to do something that's going to be different than that, the last thing that you want to do is go backwards.
Right.
And making some sort of a result in fitness is about overcoming obstacles, whether it's life, family, work, partner, commitments, time,
Right.
access to equipment, access to gym, access to good food. There's always going to be that resistance level of external things that we can't control. But the good thing about fitness and getting a result, it's all about overcoming stuff. Just like you said, like if you've got everything against you, there's still things that you can do. Right. So, I mean, let's handle like a handful of different questions that people will have. Number one, the biggest question of all that people are going to have is, will I go backwards if I can't go to a gym? Like,
No.
have I just wasted 3 years of training to be able to like not train for a month or not get into a gym for a month? Am I going to go backwards? Right. And the answer to that is 100%. No, you're not, because it all depends on what you do when you're at home. There's times where people are flying in between hotels for work, or they're on holidays and they're out remote. They don't have access to a gym. You've still got to be able to do hotel workouts, a workout in your lounge room, stuff like that. You've always got to be able to adapt to a few things.
Yeah, we attach meanings to things, right? So we will equate the success of our results based on the intensity by which our environment provides. Wrong. Because the single proof positive to that is that wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are. You are the common denominator of everything. So if it's a squat day and the gym's fucking closed and you were scheduled to do, I don't know, let's say you were going to do a pyramid squat routine of, 185, climbing up the ladder to doing singles or doubles with 315. Well, good on you. But the gym's closed. But what if I told you, okay, now go home and I want you to do 200 burpees. And I don't give a shit how you break it up. 20 sets of 10, 40 sets of 5,
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever. 5 sets of 20. Then come talk to me when you're done.
That's it, because the key is the resistance. It's not so much having a really heavy squat on your back. Like you can fatigue your body so hard with doing something simple like what's 5 kilos in pounds? Like I have no idea what that is. Like,
well, what 2.2 kilograms is 1 pound.
All right, so like a 5 kilo bag of potatoes or a 10-pound bag of potatoes or something like that. If you hold that like this and you do a midway squat and hold it for a minute,
right,
and then you try and do 30 normal squats, like that is the equivalent of you having a shit ton of weight on your back on a squat rack, because you're doing something that, one, your body has no reference for, so your nervous system is going to spaz the hell out because it doesn't have any clue what you're doing, because it's used to you just going up and down with a quite heavy weight for 10 reps. But if you're holding even if it's like shopping bags full of food or a bag of potatoes or something heavy in the house, even if you're not holding that because you're not able to do that, even if you just do a normal bodyweight squat and hold it at halfway for like 2 minutes before doing 30 reps, you're going to be stuffed. You're going to be stuffed. And if you're like, some guys are like, well, I wouldn't do that. I love my weights or that kind of stuff. Try doing a one-legged pistol squat.
Right. Or a standing split squat, right? A jumping split squat. Or better yet, take that 5 or 10 pound sack of potatoes, because it's shapeless, right? It's not a solid thing. It kind of moves in your hand as you're holding it. Do 20 Turkish get-ups with that.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking hard. It's not easy, right? It's totally not easy.
And especially if you are in a really bad scenario where you can't go outside, what are you going to do? You're going to sit at home, you're going to watch Netflix, you're gonna stuff around with your kids or your pets or just do busybody stuff, like you can get in 3 to 20 minute, 15-minute workouts, just like you said before. 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes midday, and 20 minutes at night of body weight stuff, and we'll run you through some stuff and some different variations in a couple of minutes. But I guarantee anyone out there who's never done body weight stuff, which is probably 99.9% of the people that would listen to this, if you did that for 2 days in a row, by day 3, you're going to need a rest because you're not going to be able to move.
And your metabolism shoots up. HIIT training is proven to be one of the most effective ways to control your metabolism. And if you didn't go to Costco or some big box store or supermarket and load up on a bunch of fucking potato chips, and you actually bought good nutrition, right? And you did a body weight HIIT training at home, dude, guaranteed you'd be in better shape. You can do a body weight HIIT training 3 times a day, every other day, which will total out to an hour's worth of workload spread out, which increases your metabolism. And then the next day, if you just did mountain climbers and jump rope as your cardio back and forth every other day, and took Sunday off as a rest day, oh my God, I can't begin to tell you how much more explosive you're going to be. Your metabolism's going to go up.
Yep.
Your aerobic capacity is going to go up. I mean, on and on and on.
And the other
it's good stuff.
Another thing as well, to like as an example for one routine that you can think of, a standing push-up against the wall in a handstand motion. So you walk up against the back up to the wall, crawl your feet up the wall with your hands on the floor, and use the wall with your feet up nice and high for balance, with your head down below. If you can do 4 standing chin-ups, like push-ups in reverse like that, holy shit.
You're a badass.
You're going to be pushing like 45 kilo, which is like, I don't know, 70-pound dumbbells in a shoulder press. Like, if you can do more than 6 of them, then holy shit, you're doing really, really well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we get stunted by our story, right? Because we get comfortable in it. If you think about it, going to the gym every day, or whenever you go to the gym, you land on the moon. It's predictable. You know how to get to the moon, right? But asking you to contain all of your workouts with high intensity in a small space, literally and figuratively in the comforts of your own home, where there's a lot more distractions, you know what that is? That's a story. The story already starts to turn in your head, and you're thinking of all the things that will make you fail instead of all the things that will make you succeed. So the forcible change that you have to go through because of what's going on in the world's climate, so to speak, health climate, is actually good for you. It's actually good for you because it stretches you, it pulls you out of your comfort zone, it makes you uncomfortable, it forces you to focus a little bit more because of all the distractions. If you're a family man and you've got a family to lead, it's going to force you to communicate better with your family and say, look, not only am I going to continue my exercise program, I want this to be an opportunity for all of us to have an exercise program while we're at home. I can't begin to tell you what the after effects of that will be.
Absolutely. And the thing, like, as an example, to test this out, I already know I've run you through this, but I'll run everyone listening through it. This is like brutal Rocky style. So if you get 2 kitchen chairs, you get a mop, and you put the mop in between the 2 chairs like that, and you like this, and you get under the chairs and do like a seated row or a lat pull down, pulling your body off the floor while you're facing up. And if you can get more than 12 reps, it's impossible because it is as brutal, if not just as hardcore, as a seated row, a bent over row, a deadlift, and a lat pull down that you go and do at a gym. And all you've got is 2 chairs and a mop. It is ridiculous.
And it's doing it strict too, without launching your core, bending at the hip and launching your hip up and down to help you with the momentum, right? And you don't want to do that because if you break if you're screwing around and you break the mop handle, you're going to go straight down to the ground.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So inverted rows are incredibly effective. And if that's a pulling motion, where by which you're working on the thickness and the interior strength of your back because your hands are fairly close, like no wider than your shoulders. And you did the opposite of doing a push-up with your hands about the same space. You're creating equilateral strength and power on both sides of your body. Good stuff. Nothing wrong with that.
Let's go through. I'm going to go through 4 different principles of the way to complete exercises that ordinarily people would consider them to be not effective because they're at home and they'd rather go to a gym. But there's 4 different ways that you can make these really, really brutal. And I challenge anyone, even if you do have access to a gym, just try and do 2 of these workouts in the space of 48 hours and see how your body responds. Because I guarantee if you've been training for 10 minutes or 10 years, you will be in a shitload of pain because they are brutal.
Right. And guys, as Ken is going through these exercises, open up your mind a little bit and really walk yourself through the exercise connections, right? Through the exercise order. As he's describing the exercise or telling you what the exercise is, imagine yourself doing it and manifest it through the textures of how it would feel, how what kind of energy it would put out, and then assess in your mind, holy shit, that actually would work. That's what I'm going to do. So go ahead, Ken. Let's hear it.
Let's hit it. So number 1, so the first big major principle is time under tension. So that's what builds muscle. That's what maintains muscle. That's what gives your body structural support. So as we said before, your body has no idea whether you're in a gym or whether you're at home. Only you do. So the only difference between the effectiveness, 80% of that just comes down to your own thinking. So rather than try and force yourself to think that home workouts are better, let's just prove it with some logic, and then you can actually test it out in real time. So the very, very first thing that we want to do is we want to do more of a competition style plan in terms of workouts. So instead of what most people are used to in terms of like splitting their body up into groups, like a chest, a back, a leg day, we want to try and hit your entire body in one workout, spaced in between 30 and 40 minutes. So the reason why we want to do that is that's more along the lines of competitive bodybuilding programs where they want to maximize the amount of size and the amount of muscle that they've got on their body. So rather than what a normal gym person who regularly goes to the gym does, they'll hit Monday, they'll do International Chest Day, Tuesday is back, Wednesday is legs, Thursday is shoulders and abs. Rather than doing that, what a normal person completes in intensity in workouts, they'll get that done in a month. So what a normal person completes in a month, you're going to squish that down into every 7 days. So the reason why we do that is for explosive muscle growth, to overload your system, and also because of the fact that it's so different to what you're normally used to that you're forcing your body to cooperate, and it's got no other option than to follow along with what you're doing. So the first major principle is 4, 4, 4. So any workout that we do, we're going to split it into 4 different sections. So to keep it nice and simple, let's go for a basic push-up. So when you start the push-up, at the very, very top, you're going to hold it for 4 seconds. You go down halfway, hold it for 4 seconds, and you go all the way to the floor, nose to the ground, hold it for 4 seconds again, and then back up. On the way up, halfway up, 4 seconds. At the top again, 4 seconds. Now, if you're doing this correctly with strict form, you won't even be able to get 3 push-ups done without your elbows violently shaking, because it is so aggressive in terms of the stimulus of overload, because you're not giving your body a chance to recover from any of it like you do with weight training. So normal bench press, when you press, everybody knows that at the very, very bottom, when the bar is close to your chest, that's when it's the heaviest. When it's at the top, it seems to be, in theory, lighter, but the whole time it's the same amount, but it's the different angle and the pressure that's on your body that changes the resistance level and how much of a response you get out of your muscles. Exactly the same thing with this. if you're holding the tension 3 different levels at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom, your body's got no other way to respond other than really, really cooperate. And because most people are, the weight that they are, that's the equivalent of you lifting that amount of weight and having it stationary and static for like 3 different levels for 4 seconds during each exercise. So that's one golden principle to really make any body weight activity simulated to a point where it's as aggressive as doing a weighted plate exercise like bench press or squat or something like that. The second one is pulsing. So as a exercise for pulse, if you were doing a squat halfway down, even if you stopped midway and you've got 2 millimeters above midway and 2 millimeters below midway, if you've got your arms out flat like this and holding that, and you've got those millimeters in between the middle there like that, and if you just go up and down like this for 10 seconds, it's going to be apparent really, really quick that you can't hold that for longer than 10 seconds before you need to go up. So if you do 10 squats like that and you're stopping in the middle like that, pulsing for 10, going back up, 10 squats like that, you're gone. Same thing for push-ups, same thing for lunges, same thing for, you wouldn't even need that for pistol squats or something like that, because pistol squats on one foot are brutal enough by themselves. But that's another good variation to add into making it as, stimulating as if you were doing a full weight session. The third one is explosive. So if you've got no knee problems, if you've got no back problems, you can go all the way down to the bottom of a squat and jump up, up above your head, halfway down, hold, down to the bottom, hold for 4, and jump up. So we want to try and get as high as we can, as explosive as we can, because if you're, say, 80 odd kilos, that's the equivalent of jumping up 80 kilos each time. That's like a really shit ton of weight on your back, holding it there like that. So we want to explode up like that. The next one is one that's incorporated in all those 3, which is just static holds. So doing a push-up, hold it halfway. If you hold that push-up halfway for 90 seconds and then try and just pump out 10 normal push-ups, you're going to know about it. So that's 4 different ways that you can aggressively really, really stimulate your muscle. And because it's so different to what you've normally done, your body's got no other way of, handling that other than to cooperate with you to get that growth really, really going. So out of those 4 and stuff like that, what do you think, Mel, is some principles that we can use for interval training, cardio training, stuff like that? What things can you come up with?
Well, I think there's a mental aspect of it as well, where by nature, when we start to get tired, our body starts to get tired, we allow our mind to get tired at the same time, right? So in a given space, in a given timeline of work, the average person will start out with high energy here, and as they do their reps, they'll go down in energy. Physically, that's what happens, right? Okay. And the problem with that is when you feel that fatigue, you also mentally convince yourself it's the same way. Now, if you take a rest period and then you have to complete that same task again, yes, your body's going to get more fatigued as you go on. However, if you attack it mentally the next set and say to yourself, okay, I'm not going to get as fatigued, I'm going to go all out, you have to have those interior conversations with yourself if you want to constantly improve. You cannot just by default follow the program and allow your body to respond to the mental convincing it receives just because it's getting tired, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's the same thing when I went through this procedure. When I went through this procedure yesterday, I told myself, it was Wednesday that I had the procedure. Starting Sunday, I was already speaking life into who was going to show up for the procedure, meaning myself, which version of myself was going to happen on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and by Monday, who I was going to be. I literally was saying to myself, my body is strong. I am strong. I'm going to heal from this very quickly. I said that to myself over and over and over. As I sit here in front of you right now, who is a guy who went through a vasectomy yesterday, which was very painful, I have some aches. I'm at about a level 5 pain, but I'm not like, oh my God, I got to go lay down and, wound myself, lick my wounds and, veg out on Netflix and just act like a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I wasn't going to do that because your body, which is the vessel by which you feel, only receives that information based on what your mind says. All right. So it doesn't matter what the process is or the strategy or the methodology, your mind has to carry you through that. And you must tell yourself that I'm going to extinguish as much energy as I can, as far as my mind will say it can, until my body can no longer do that. If you have that mental standard, just imagine what your body would feel like after 30 days,
I mean,
after any length of time.
even using like half of those principles, I would be very, very surprised with a pretty aggressive workout that anyone can do anything longer than 20 minutes with that type of a plan. Like that is very, very aggressive, very explosive. And I think people need to just get out of that mentality of, if I don't have a gym, I'm just going to get fat, which is completely ridiculous.
Right. Well, if you think about it too, going to the gym is a very social thing, right? We're going to take you out of a social environment where you walk in, hey, dude, how you doing? Hey, girl, you're looking at a girl or whatever. That's all part of the experience. Now we're going to take you out of that and put you in a solitary situation, a solitary environment. Maybe your family may be around. I don't know, right? So that's a completely different. I'm going to take that into consideration. I'm not going to take that away from you. Yes, that is a big change. One of the things about going to the gym is that there's a fun aspect to it. It makes it fun to go to the gym because there's people around you. Now you have to be the sole source of human energy. You can't draw the energy upon other people. You could turn on your own music, just like they have at the gym, but the human element is gone. You now are the only source. You need to make it fun for yourself. You need to make it looking forward for yourself and say, fuck yeah, this is not a fuck no situation. I'm going to turn it into a fuck yeah situation because I need to stretch and grow by doing something different. I need to stop the fucking whining and say, oh, fuck, I'm not going to get great workouts because I'm not at the gym. Is that really true? No, that's not true. That's not true. Embrace the change and go for it.
If anything, I think because people are so accustomed to having pretty much all their workouts being done in a gym, because you're not used to this, you'll get more growth out of this, doing this for a few weeks, than you would just continuing on the regular pattern that you've got, because this is going to shock the absolute shit out of your system. Like if you're not getting up by day 3 after doing 20 minutes of stuff like this 3 days in a row without being able to like walk or have pain or just have really good DOMs and muscle fatigue, then shit, you're not going hard enough, because within 15, 20 minutes of doing this, I would challenge anyone to do 20 minutes of body weight workouts and turn around and say they can do another 20 minutes, because it's impossible. There is no way in hell. I don't care if you've been lifting for 10 years, if you're a beginner, if you're in the bloody Olympics. If you do 20 minutes of body weight, you're going to know about it.
Let's look at another aspect from a soft tissue aspect, right? Whenever you're in the gym, you're using your soft tissue as fulcrums and leverage points, especially when you're doing isolation motions, like maybe a skull crush. If you're squatting, you got multi-jointed motions, right? So you got 3 or 4 joints going at the same time. You're wearing down that soft tissue, the joints, the cartilages, all of that, right? The ligaments. When you're doing body weight, you're not. You're not, because you've only got your own body. You're not subjecting it to greater loads than it can, right? The intensity level is switched up by the cadence 4, 4, and 4, but you're not going to hurt your soft tissue. You'd have to be an idiot with really bad form to do that. So now let's fast forward 4, 6, 8 weeks later. You go back to the gym. Well, guess what? A, you strengthened your heart and your circulatory system. B, you strengthen your respiratory system. And C, you've got healthy joints going back, which means that's going to translate into stronger performance when you ramp back up at the gym. It's a positive win all the way around. It really, really is.
And I think the other good thing to get out of this as well is people are mentally accustomed to thinking if they don't have access to a gym, they can't make progress. So from today forward, after this little tutorial, anytime that you're on holiday and you don't have access to a gym, or you're in a hotel, or you're in transit, or you're visiting someone or family, parents, whatever, or you're on holiday and you don't have access to an equipment or a sporting center, there is no excuse for you to not bash out 20 minutes of this, because guaranteed, if you've never done this before, you won't even be able to make it to 15 minutes because it's that hard.
You know, it's funny as we discuss this, I think about one of the progressions we do as a warm up in Krav Maga. We have to run a mile before we do any drills or any workouts, right, in Krav Maga. One of the progressions we do in a circle of, 10 students or whatnot is we'll do a progression of it's 10 push ups, 10 sit ups, 10 squats, and then 10, we call them sprawls, but they're actually burpees. But once we do 10, and then we go to 9, and then we go to 8, and then I'll work our way all the way down to 1. And I got to tell you, it's fucking hard.
It sounds hard. Yeah.
But as we do it with each workout, it becomes a warm up. To the average person, they're like dying, right? But you take that same average person, you have them do that multiple times during the week as a warm up, then it does become a warm up. If you're traveling and you're in a hotel room and you got 15 minutes in the morning or 15 minutes at night, I guarantee if you start with a progression of 10 working down, be it 10-8-4-2, 10-8-6-4-2, or 10 down to 1, I don't care what the progression is. You pick those 5 exercises, you're going to feel phenomenal. You're going to feel fantastic. If you did that twice a day, your metabolism would spike. Absolutely it would. All day it would be.
And then the other thing as well is if people are worried about their cardio fitness going down, by doing something like this, there is no way in hell that you're going to be able to keep your heart rate under 150 beats, because the amount of time of rest that you need is drastically reduced, and also as well the amount of pressure on your bones and ligaments, as Mel said before, is drastically reduced. But the thing that isn't reduced is the pressure and the tension in your muscles. And the reason why that is because it's dragged out and elongated. You get shakes, you get wobbles, you get kind of, wobbly legs, wobbly knees, wobbly elbows, because the duration and the tension is fixed and it's not going anywhere. Unlike traditional weight training where it's like 10, 15 seconds and then the pressure's off. But with this, you're doing 90 seconds, and with pulses, with explosives, with the 4-4, with static holds, your nervous system's going to be thrashed. So,
right.
I mean, 15, 20 minutes of this, it almost equates for like a cardio workout. But doing little things like sprinting on the spot for 10 seconds and then doing 10 seconds of squats, those two things alone, I'll be honest, I don't reckon I could do 2 minutes of that without just like, I'm done. Like if I did 10 seconds of sprinting and then 10 seconds of squats, after, 8 rounds of that, I think I'd be game over. I'd be stuffed because I've got no reference for it. I've never done it before that many times because, we're just too focused on regular traditional gym training.
Well, even if you took jumping jacks, mountain climbers, and speed skaters, those 3 exercises at 10 seconds apiece for 3 minutes or 2 minutes, oh, dude, if you were doing it right, you're going to create such length and shortening and such a great warm-up. It's really going to create a lot of flexibility in your body, So you can't lose. It's a win-win-win. It's a win for you. It's a win for your lifestyle. It's a win for you mentally, right? It's a win for you physically. It's a win for you mentally, and it's a win for your lifestyle. You can't lose.
That's it.
Absolutely can't lose,
So if you're having a listen to this and you would like a example of some stuff that you can do at home, even just for your own personal knowledge, just so you've got that intact, if you ever need to pull it out and use it, feel free to just send us a message or something like that. We'll send you out some examples that you can have a look at. Other than that, Mel, this has been awesome, dude. This has fired me up. I'm going to incorporate some home workout stuff, even though I don't need to at the moment, but I'm definitely going to throw some in there because, it's really, really good. And it's such a good, really, really just like oil and water difference in terms of the different types of stimulus compared to just regular lifting weights.
Absolutely. And if you want to add that progression, 10 down to 1 or 10 even down to 2, again, it's push-ups, sit-ups, It's push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and burpees. Those 4 things.
Whew.
You wouldn't think that it's a lot,
You'd
but
be
working your progression down from 10 to 1. I
yeah,
don't know I've never really done the math on that, but and there's no time frame to it. Obviously, you don't want to lag doing it, but you
yeah,
want your form. Let's talk just one last thing. Form is everything. This is where you want to be a technique freak. I'm a technique freak. If I can't do it right, I won't fucking do it at all.
mm,
Right?
yeah,
Because what you do in practice is what happens in reality. And I learned that from years of training. And now that I'm in Krav Maga, I'm not going to flail around and kick and punch without, some sort of technical direction.
mm,
There's an art to it. So as you're doing these body weight exercises at home, really feel your way through it. Really understand that you're doing it correctly. Put your phone up and videotape yourself and see how you're doing it. You know? So add the progressions, guys, and also be a technique freak. And if you don't know if you're doing it right, videotape yourself and post it in the
yeah.
page.
Yeah, we'd be happy to look at it, check your technique out.
Absolutely.
Or even if
Absolutely.
you've just got questions about what equipment you can use. Like if
Mhm.
you've got, like, this is what you need. You want a brutal home workout, this is all you need. You need 2 shopping bags. You can fill them with any material in your house that you can fit in the bag. That's going to be heavy enough to simulate a traditional dumbbell set. You need 1 mop, you need 2 chairs, and you need a little bit of floor space. And that is enough to make you cry like a schoolgirl.
There's one more thing that you could do. You can take a big blanket and flop it up and down like it's battle ropes.
Mm.
Right?
Like a heavy, like one of those,
Yeah,
like army kind of artillery
exactly.
blankets. Yeah.
Even a comforter, because if you think about it, battle ropes have a lot of weight to it, right?
Mm.
Okay. But if you're just using a big blanket, like a blanket or a comforter or what would you guys call it? A duvet, right? A filled duvet for a queen or king size bed. If you did that and squatted all the way down and jumped up and flapped it just like you would battle ropes for
Yeah.
25 times,
Your
I
heart's going to be like,
guarantee. Oh,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah. You'd
Oh
be
my
wrecked.
God. You'd
You'd
be
be absolutely
done.
wrecked.
You'd be done. Don't let your comfort, don't let the creature of comforts create excuses for you. Don't do that. Don't do that. There are military personnel on the other side of the world, and they're using fucking boxes with bars and weights and just, you know, right? I
Yep.
mean, come on, you know? There are Shaolin monks at frickin' Shaolin temples using their own body weights for exercises, and they're incredibly strong, you know?
That's true.
Your story, challenge your story. Oh, fuck, I'm not going to get a good workout. I'm not at the gym. Is that really true? Fuck no.
You know what it is? I think it's people are indirectly afraid of how fucked they're going to be doing a home workout because they know they're just like, I've got to do stuff that I know because I feel comfortable. Like if you do 20 minutes of this, you are going to be so uncomfortable and you'd be so indirectly, personally humiliated. Not that anyone's going to know, but you'll know. And you will
Right.
be humbled so far to do 15, 20 minutes of this because
Right.
it is just another level. It is brutality at its finest, especially if you think you can do more than 20 minutes.
Right. However, the caveat to that is that's temporary. That's a temporary feeling because if you did this on a regular basis, the curve changes. You go from feeling inadequate to Superman over time simply because of due diligence and consistency. Isn't that the same thing as being in the gym, guys? You didn't start out the level that you're at the gym right now. You didn't walk in on the first day and fucking all of a sudden that's what you did. Hell no. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be open minded, give it a shot. We have this worldwide climate right now, or a condition that's going on. I don't know, whatever way you want to call it. All right, well, let's roll with it. Why should your health and fitness lifestyle have to suffer? And if it does, it's because you allowed it.
And don't be complacent and undo all your good work and go backwards just because the world's decided to shit itself.
Right. And you know what? This mentality, this change in mentality and openness and embracing the suck, if you will, is going to be a translatable energy and perspective you're going to apply into your professional life. It will be. I guarantee it, because the second you hear somebody complaining about something or something you used to do that used to be tough, you'd be like, this wasn't that big of a fucking deal. Why am I stressing over this at work, or whatever the case may be? It's going to push you to perform at a higher level all around. I guarantee it. So just give it a shot. Be open-minded. Hydrate. Nutritionalize yourself properly. Work out on a regular basis. And if you have to take yourself out of a big environment into the small, beautiful confines of your home, fucking do it. Seriously, just do it.
And on that note, Mel, I think we've smashed that. That's good. Loved it.
Teamwork, brother. Teamwork makes the dream
work.
work.
I'll hit you up and we'll go again next week.
Yes, sir. Much love. Take care.
Adios.